it's crazy that I'm saying it out loud. Now I'm like, yo, this is crazy. If you got the vision to do it, it's going to come to you. The main reason why we got the embroidery machines because it's like, yo, I came from here and now we're getting money like here now. This is a sign of growth. It's 100% on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
we know exactly.
Hey friends, it's Jay Woods. Welcome to the GPS Limitless podcast, where it's my privilege to sit down with entrepreneurs, athletes, clinicians, creatives, and other inspiring guests from a variety of backgrounds. We reflect on their journey and lived experiences to offer insights so your path can be more straightforward. In today's episode, I speak with Rashad Williams, CEO and co-founder of Avancer. Avancer is a clothing line and also offers embroidery services to a variety of brands and companies. Rashad, along with co-founder LJ, had built this brand from the ground up with minimal guidance. That being said, their journey offers plenty of insight for designers and entrepreneurs seeking to build their own brand. We'll be covering a lot in today's conversation, so as always, feel free to use the timestamps in the description or show notes. We discuss the craft of embroidery and design, how to create a profitable fashion line, the lessons of entrepreneurship, and of course, the journey of Avancer. I hope you enjoy today's conversation as much as I do. Rashad, how you feeling today, my guy?
I feel great, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. I just want to start off by giving you your flowers, man. Much respect. You built this from the ground up with minimal, external feedback. And, you've been on for a number of years, man. It's just great to see, honestly.
Appreciate it, bro, for real. Even better coming from you, man.
So, just starting off, where did the idea of Avancer come from?
Well, I always had the idea of starting a clothing brand. When I was in college, I used to just do little stuff. I used to bleach clothes, tie-dye clothes. I used to do it like after class and stuff, cut up clothes. It started there. And then me and my best friend, L, we've always pretty much known that we were going to start a business. And we've always been into clothing. So we was only right. And the sneakers, of course, was like the first love. That's what really kind of brought us into clothing. So yeah, that was we knew that we were going to do a brand. And then I ended up getting with a collective from Cleveland and we started Avancer.
Hey, so, that sounds inspiring just off rip. So
Yeah.
Tell me though, how do we go from an accounting major into clothing,
Well, to be honest, I always knew I wanted to own a business. Even from when I was in high school, middle school, I was yo, I'm just going to own a business. I always felt like I had an entrepreneurial spirit, I would say. And I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. At one time I was thinking man, I want to own hotels. I want to own, I was saying all type of stuff. But once I kind of really understood my passion for clothing, that's what really took over for it. And that's what was yo, dang, let me go ahead and do it. I always knew also too, I would say good with numbers. That was kind of one of my better subjects while I was going to school. And knowing that I was going to be a part of a business, I always wanted to make sure that my numbers was right, taxes and stuff like that. Just having knowledge of that, I just knew that would help me along the lines. Because I always hear about different businesses struggling behind the scenes compared to what we actually see. So I just wanted to have that type of confidence on the business side of things.
I feel that. But with the number thing, I feel like it's an interesting decision to go on with it with your best friend. What kind of made you feel comfortable with pursuing that with one of your closest friends? Because I know a lot of times they'd be like, oh, money will split you guys up, or you should just spearhead it all on your own. Can you kind of talk me through that decision?
Yeah, that's real. It's real, bro. You gotta know how to that's a good question though, because you really you have to kind of be patient with each other, especially when you both don't really know what's going on, as far as starting this roadmap to build a successful company and you got so many things to work on, You feel me? Like even both of us had to work on our personal finances before dealing with each other on a business financial level. So it does come with a lot of trust, but you just need a lot of patience, man, and a lot of belief. I'm gonna be honest, like it's a lot of faith that you need to have in each other, and just keeping that within each other, knowing that it's going to work, and knowing both of you guys is going to figure it out, and then being like extra. It's crazy. At first, I would say communication is like something that people always say. Communication is good. Communication is good. But like, bro, communication to like a child's level needs to be, like you got to really say everything to each other. You feel me? Like you got to be clear and cut about everything because one little thing, it can be a miscommunication that leads to something bigger off you just not stating one thing. So that's one thing that we've learned over the course of years, and being in business with each other. But as we continue to grow with each other, honestly, I feel like it's only gotten better. So I'm just one of the lucky people out here that's able to keep a stable business with their best friend. So shout out to
I feel
my
that. Shout out LJ. And then also with that, like how you said, like it's gotten better. Was it kind of rough in the beginning, or did you feel like you always had that communication?
We're young. Like I ain't gonna lie, we were. It's like we were both at a crossroads too, almost to a certain degree, while starting a business. Like I was leaving college. You don't know what you're really doing for real. Like he's entering a new phase of his life. He just moved down to Tampa. We're originally from Cleveland, so he just moved down there. And we just trying to both figure it out. We're first time staying on our own. You know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that, grocery shopping, all that stuff. That was all hitting us at once. So it was a lot of like bigger responsibilities that we also had to take care of along with doing this. But I feel like the fact that we had each other, really made it even better.
I feel that. And then how you mentioned about, having to get your personal finances together before you could put it towards the business stuff. What's like the typical startup costs, either like with your business or like what you've seen with peers that have done similar things? Like if I'm like, yo, I'm trying to start up a clothing line right now, how much should I expect to like really go in with it?
I mean, realistically, it just really depends on the item. I feel like if you want everything done from a manufacturer, it is relatively pretty easy to get it done. I would feel like the harder part is more so with you. Like the process is easy itself, but a lot of it comes from within you. Like your logo, what's your message, stuff like that. Like sometimes the person you're paying for the logo that could cost anywhere from like 150 to 200, but you might know somebody, so knowing people would help that cost. Maybe that person might only do it for like $50 for you, and it's a crazy logo. But when you're getting the stuff like, say if you were doing some T-shirts, you want to do 50 T-shirts and you want to get it done overseas, you're looking probably to spend with shipping to get it over here about $1,000. And that's what tax included. So I would say, 1,000 is, but then again, you can take it another route. You can start as low as $250. You can go and get tees for bulk, and companies will sell you those tees $6, $4, and you can go get them printed yourself for about $15 to $20. Get them printed or do an embroidery on there, and say you might want to do like 15 or 20. That's not going to cost you a lot. It'll cost you probably about $400, $500. So if you're just like really starting, I would suggest going that route before going in and trying to get something official done overseas. Spend that $1,000 and you don't even know your demographic, what you really want to aim for. Start a little easier. Get some T-shirts, get a couple blanks, and then you print from there.
Gotcha. So kind of follow-up question. No shade to either of our upbringings, because obviously, we go back. But, from my understanding, you don't have like the most wealthiest financial backing. So like, would you recommend that someone go out and get like a line of credit, personal loan, or just stack up? Or like what might have worked best for you? Either way.
Um, when okay, I always say if you're not dealing with the best kind of help, I guess save. You gotta go old fashioned. Save up, man. Save up. Put your spend where you can and just get started. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's at $100, $200, that's what I'm saying. Go and get something printed and do it like that. Like that's your best bet. You feel me? Just work on what you can work with. It's always if you got the vision to do it, it's gonna come to you. That you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The way
And just give like the listeners an example. What was your like first designs that you guys put out?
yeah, our first design was actually it's a staple for us. So it's an embroidered logo across the chest, and we wanted something staple like that, something that felt very. Our goal at first was to go for a vintage, heavier feel. We love '90s clothes. That's something that we were raised on. We're heavily influenced by them, so we always just wanted to keep that heavier, thicker, good quality, something that lasts very long. So we felt like embroidery is something compared to printing that is going to stay in for a very long time. Not no shade to any prints or anything, but embroidery is something that would definitely, if it's stitched the right way, you're looking at decades that it can last. So,
I
you
feel
know,
that. So is that like one of the main reasons why you chose to take up the skill of embroidery?
yes, definitely, definitely.
And then what
And
was that like in terms of like learning that?
it helped budget wise too, you know, compared to the overall cost of it for an embroidery machine is pretty high. Is I would say it's about $1,200, $1,600. But at that rate, once you get that, you're only looking at the cost of t-shirts now. And now you just have to worry about, okay, who's got the best quality t-shirt? Who's going to make me stand out? You know, you got to do your research on, there's a lot of manufacturers, a lot of blank wholesalers, but you just got to, test the waters out. I tested a couple people before I came up with the exact formula to make our stuff.
Gotcha. So like when you do this research, right? Is it more so you going out to places and like trying it in person, or is it like, oh, I see this supplier
Mm-hmm.
overseas, let me have them ship a couple samples, and then I'll let the person
Mm-hmm.
overseas know?
A lot of it was in-house at first. I mean, not in-house, but domestic. We did a lot of stuff U.S. So you just pretty much ordering. You're seeing which one I order from. There's a brand called Shockaware. They make really good
Oh shoot, I'm about to
posts.
go check them out. You didn't drop the
Check
brand
them
name.
out, bro. If you know what I'm saying, like it goes for. I want everybody to really understand, like even when it comes to merch for a company, clothing brands, bro. You want to print something, get your message out. Like even family reunion shirts, bro. Like go do that. Like go to you got Shockaware. You got your Gildens. You got Independent. And you just try out different ones, bro. Like LA Apparel, you got it's a lot of different ones that have great quality and something that might really fit what you're looking for. So yeah, just keep ordering them. See what really makes sense to you.
Gotcha. And then going back to that embroidery aspect, right? So at least to my knowledge, you didn't know how to embroider back when we were young. How did you
No,
learn? And then what was that learning curve like?
bro, it's so crazy because the main reason why we got the embroidery machines because we had a pop up in New York and we didn't have anything done. Like it was a week before. I don't want to swear, but it was crazy. We didn't have anything done, and yet we had everything laid out for us to have a pop up. We didn't paid our money. We got flights and everything. But we don't have any of the gear, so we had to muscle up, get an embroidery machine, and thank God the person that sold me the machine. Shout out to Ewan. She gave me free lessons, and she gave me a lesson that day. I took note of everything, and I went home that same night, and I got it cracking.
I'm like,
So and then honestly, with that type of embroidery machine, um, it's I would say it's high technology, so it does a lot for itself. But you do have to know kind of like placements, measurements. Those are the most important. what type of stabilizer to use to make sure that the stitching is going to last in there. Make sure it's not pinching on your gear. You don't want any messing up the actual base itself. So yeah, you just got to really. She just taught me how to what's the right thing to make it look good. The amount of stabilizer, what type of threading you use, and what hoops to do. It's just
So like with those
different type.
embroidery lessons, was it kind of like just I'll show you a few times in the beginning, then you're all on your own, or do you find yourself
No,
having
she
like
showed me
continuously go
once.
back?
Yeah, She literally showed me once, and I had to go home the next night because the 2 days after that, I was getting ready to go to New York.
Dang, crazy.
Yeah, so and she just taught me, and then I just went home. I think I might have had like one question. I called her on the phone, and then that was it. But
Dang.
after that, it was pretty self-explanatory for me. And I think it's a different mode. Like when you got to get something done within the next 2 days, it's like, yeah, I ain't got no choice. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like I got to do it. So it made sense to me right off rip. Thank God. And we did pretty good for our first pop-up ever. It was in New York, and we did good. So people
gotcha.
loved it.
And then with the pop-ups, like what's like the value of pop-ups and why do you choose to use those as part of your business plan?
Bro, it's good. Me personally, I'm a lot better at just talking with people in person
Mm-hmm.
compared to social media. Like social media is definitely like something that helps your brand, enhances your brand's image. But me, I feel like my best is when I'm working with you in person and I get to talk to you, you know, and really get to connect with you. It's always good. And big people like still feeling, even though we're moving towards an online kind of demand, but people like to just come and feel your clothing. And our brand is something like that where you want to feel this cloth before, before anything, that's a key thing for us. Once we know they feel the weight of this, it's on.
I feel that. So like with the pop-ups though, do you have to, so, you know, picture me being a newbie, right? If I'm like, yo, I want to sign up for a pop-up. Do I have to like know
Mm-hmm.
someone? Do I like apply to some big conglomerate thing that
Yeah,
will like put me in one? Do I book my
that's
own
yes.
reservations? Do they supply it? Walk me through that a little bit.
Okay. So before we actually started selling clothes, we embroidered a lot of samples before we actually mass produced it. So we were already kind of teasing it a little bit, like we had did like an installation at a party. So because somebody just seen our my homeboy, his cousin, she threw the party. She's a DJ. She seen the brand. She was like, "Yo, that's hard. What's up with y'all? That's coming out." It was like, "Yeah, like we there's a couple samples." So then we was able to do an installation there, and we just got more people to be aware of our brand, and we just kept promoting it. And then that's what brought that opportunity in New York. They said, "Hey, if y'all can mass produce some stuff, come out with us. We're doing a party out there. Y'all vend." You know. And then also, if you don't want to do that route, you just got to do it yourself. To be honest, like, whether you got one supporter or 100, bro, just get out there. Talk to some sneaker stores, talk to some stores, show them your stuff, and see if they'll be down. You gotta really put yourself out there.
I feel that.
Sometimes people will see you, they'll just reference you, use you as reference. Yo, this dude makes crazy stuff. I might tell my homeboy who's throwing an event to put y'all in there. So a lot of that stuff, we was blessed enough. A lot of people, um, you know,
Gotcha. So, you know, you mentioned
you
these connections. Um, Obviously, your brand is Avancer, but you've worked with a number of other brands, such as In
yeah,
Way Over Your Head, right? And for those that don't know, the creator of that, his products were not Jason. Is it Jason? Jalen.
yeah, Jason Tatum,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jason Tatum. See, I should know my basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. Anyways, Jason Tatum, bro, he was wearing a design from In Way Over Your Head, but Rashad's company, Avancer, had a role in that embroidery. So kind of
Mm-hmm.
walk me through like how that collaboration come about.
For my boy Brian, who runs a brand, shout out to Glass Ceilings. Um, I do embroidery for some of his pieces, and he knew a guy from Chicago named Jack. The guy was looking for an embroiderer, and my boy Brian, he plugged me, and I was able to do a lot of one-on-one pieces for him. He trusted our embroidery work. We done some mass production for him as well. So he trusted us, and whenever I can, whenever he needs me, he's like, "Yo, such and such is wearing this." He'll hit me up, see if we can do it. It look good. They rocking it, you know. So that's just a lot of word to mouth, man. When you're doing something you love and you're doing it good, stuff starts lining up for you. So I'm blessed
I feel
to have
that.
people use me as a referral, and just even put my name out there, man, because that's really all that happens. Like, they people just telling people about me, man.
And then how you mentioned the word of mouth thing. Is that how you got in touch with that financial institution that wanted embroidery for their brand or for their? I mean, I don't want to name
Right?
drop them if you don't want them name drop, but the financial institution, how'd that come
No,
about?
yeah, Buy Star Credit Union. Yep, they're pretty much dominated. More so down here in Florida. It's more of a southern kind of credit union,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, bro, big opportunity. A guy, one of my good friends as well, damn near like a brother. I went to college with him. His name's Jared Roy. He works with us now too. He's like an operations manager. He gets us in contact with a lot of our bigger deals, as far as our embroidery work. And he knew his mom literally works for the marketing of this.
Boy, got connections everywhere.
It's like it's crazy that I'm saying it out loud now. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is a lot of connection work. But his mom works for the marketing of Florida. I'm tripping. Star Credit Union in Florida. So she's seen our stuff. She knows that we embroider. She said, hey, they do something at the Florida Classic, which is a game versus Florida A&M and Bethune Cook, I think it is. Yeah, BCU. I'm just going to keep it like that. But they do a game every year, big time. And a lot of vendors go out there and they have booths set up to, spread awareness about their stuff. And they said, yo, we would love if y'all could do y'all embroider our work for us. And then we also added some stencil work for them. And was able to make this deal with them. And we've been doing it for like the last 3 years and hopefully continuing.
Yes. So when you establish, these type of partnerships, how do you go about establishing your prices and knowing your worth while also being reasonable? Is it I know for sure,
Yeah.
I'm working with the
Honestly,
big brand now. They should be able to pay me.
bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. We're still learning. Like, this is all like relatively new for us as far as how we price it. And I feel like every time that we've done a deal, we've been like, we could have did that time. Like, we should have included this. You know what I'm saying? So it's a learning experience, like every single time, because it's always a different variation or something different that needs to be done from the last one. But we usually price it pretty good. I usually do it as far as like labor, the amount of units it is, how much time it might take us, something that really makes sense for us. So we've been definitely getting better, but we're going to continue to get better.
And do you typically do one-time events, or is it more so we're going to be in this partnership for this many times or this many years or whatever?
It's not even more so up to us. It's up to them. Whatever they're comfortable with. It's been years where we've done two for them. Another department of theirs reached out to us and was like, "Yo, we need y'all to do this for this event." So it's really all up to them. Like we're just here for them. They have our information whenever they need us.
Gotcha. So with all this in-person networking that you're doing, tell me about the social media side. I know that can be a big advantage for a lot of companies, a lot of
Yeah.
brands. How do you leverage that for you?
Something that we're still learning to do as well. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like we definitely have turned it up. Like this is something that we've progressively gotten better at. Like I'm not an expert at social media, but we've been a lot more conscious about how to move and how to make this thing work for us. So my boy L, he's the one that usually runs the social media account. Of course, we both have input on what goes out there, but he is pretty confident. We're pretty confident in him that he knows what to do as far as stories. He does even like a lot of the real editing. Um, and he has a lot of ideas too. Like we really just want to improve every year, but it's an all together kind of teamwork as far as the social media.
I feel that. So with you getting your name out there and stuff, let me know what
Mm-hmm.
that feeling is like when you make that first sale. What was that like when you guys made that first sale?
Bro, it's lit. It's something like bro, I ain't gonna lie. Like every sale be feeling like the first sale. You know,
Mhm.
it's got that type of impact. You know, especially when you know what you putting into it, and people really be genuinely. You know what you make is fire. You're supposed to have this certain confidence for it. You know, like you understand what you're bringing to the table, but it's another thing for somebody to keep reassuring you that, bro, this is fire, and y'all keep doing this. It's like, man, yo, it's just another spark, you know. So when we definitely make that first sale, it was amazing. But I get that same kind of euphoria every time somebody purchases something.
I feel that. And something I do want to comment on for real is it's kind of like a general business thing, but you know, there's, let's say, people that enjoy people that enjoy embroidery, enjoy making
Mm-hmm.
clothing and sell it, and there's people that are like just sell things and like embroidery's gonna make me a lot of money. And that's like, you know, the passion that you and LJ put into like your guys' work, your guys' pieces, and you know, you can really tell like the passion. One in terms of like how you guys advertise your stuff, but then also
Mm-hmm.
just like the quality of things. And
Appreciate it.
with that too is like the question I'm trying to pose here is what goes into creating your guys' pieces in terms of the creative, the ideation behind it is what I'm trying to get at. Is it like, okay, this week I'm thinking this, we'll drop it next month, or is it like, oh, I'm planning this out, you know, a year in advance type thing?
That's a good question. A lot of things, to be honest, are sporadic. I feel like I'm always thinking about clothes, and just like L, so he'll be like, "Yo, I thought of some crazy." A lot of the stuff that we made is really because of the stuff that we love, like the stuff that we've grown up on. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of mentioned earlier, it's like we watch movies, and a lot of movies have translated back into our clothing. You know, even with certain colors. Um, it is we've always kind of had this, like you said, we've had this philosophy of making something new and moving forward in this kind of like motion kind of cycle that we're proposing. So when we do think clothing, we kind of always thinking, how do we kind of give our own twist of it,
Mm-hmm.
even with coloring, certain details that might be that might be a part of it. But we're just thinking forward, forward, but yet being inspired by what influences us.
I feel that. So like when you and LJ like come up with pieces, is it kind of like one person tends to take the lead? Is it kind of like
Mm-hmm.
we reach a mutual decision?
Yeah.
Sometimes we disagree, but we'll still drop it regardless. How's that typically work?
Yeah, like it's honestly it's worked in so many different ways. Like L has been the leader for some of them. Like he'll have like three pieces that we've probably put out there where he's been like the focal point of like he came up with that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, like stuff like that. There'll be some where I might have came up with the idea of it, and then he's came along, he's tweaked it a little bit, or vice versa. He's came up with something, I threw a little input in there, and so forth. We've even had our guys that work with us throw us crazy ideas, and we're like, yo, that's fire, we doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like with the fitted caps, my boy Berlin, he low key he did some of the color work on there. So it's just what makes sense to all of us. And sometimes, yeah, like you said, sometimes it might be something like we're like but
Yeah,
we still kind of it's like, yo, let's put it out there. We didn't put all this time into it. Let's still give it a swing.
gotcha.
I meant to say too with some of them that we've been learning like sewing over the years. So some of these things like we've come together and kind of molded ourselves. Like when we're in the lab, with our sewing teacher. He's giving us ideas. We're like, okay, bet, and then we come up with this idea ourselves.
Gotcha. So, with you mentioning, or maybe it's just my perception, but a lot of it seems to be done with you and LJ, almost like a 2-man team with like occasional help here and there. What's the work-life balance like currently? And then, let me just end that thought right there. What's the work-life balance like currently?
I would say we do both have 9 to 5s pretty much. But after that, I ain't even gonna lie. During my 9 to 5, I'm working on Avancer. Like, it's just it don't stop.
Yeah.
I wish it's not even like something I can. I know people have this thing where it's like they're like super organized and it's like this times for this and this times for that. But like to me, it's like Avancer's damn near all the time. I got to talk to a manufacturer during the day. I'm emailing my graphic designer, tweaking some things. I'm coming up with some colors. We're ordering off the production site. It's just, we're thinking of ideas. So it don't really stop, to be honest. Like, even though it's a set time to have our 9 to 5s, like even then, bro, we're trying to talk to somebody. We sell out of another store. So we're talking to the owner of that store. He's always giving us input on what to do. So it don't really ever stop. I feel like after the fact that when we get out of our jobs, it just might be like more so a lot more hands on. Like that's where a lot of the embroidery comes in, a lot of the cut and sewing comes in. That portion of it comes in, social media work, photo shoots, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like that's a common theme in entrepreneurship, honestly, where it's like, a lot of times people think like, oh, entrepreneurship, I'll have all the free time in the world because I'm my own business. But it's like, at least in that beginning phase, a lot of times it's like, you might be putting in more hours towards building it than what you would in like a 9 to 5. Obviously the payoff, hopefully for whatever that person might be creating or working towards is like better at the end goal. But in that beginning phases, a lot of it's like, it's legit all the time. Might not be like hands-on all the time, but a lot of it's like ideation and like creating things, networking, etc.
Yeah. I catch myself like writing down some type of note, some type of idea. You think about a real idea, you think about a commercial idea, like it don't ever stop. And I'm thankful for that though, honestly.
I feel that. And then also too, I don't know, I kind of want to shift the conversation away from some of the technical aspects. Kind of want to get into we'll come back to some of the technical aspects as well, but kind of shifting towards more of the journey per se. So, just a couple of things that you told me off camera before. How did you make that decision from going from, I'm in school doing my major, pursuing my degrees, being like, hey, I'm just going to pursue this with more intention and, not to like say dropping out is bad, but to drop out classes. Because I know at one point your mom was like, why didn't you just tell me that you want to do this from the beginning? What was that like breaking the news to her and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, it sucked. It's not as like, I don't know. It kind of sucked in a way because you did feel like to a certain extent. I'm like, damn, I'm so close to the finish line, but yet it's something just telling me like, yo, do this. I can't help what my heart was telling me, and my passion for it. It was just outweighing school, bro. Like I couldn't really even keep focused because it got to a certain point on my notes. Half of my notes is on the class, and the other half I'm thinking about ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going home. I'm looking at like old Vogue articles. I'm reading, looking at older shows. Like it was just outweighing my passion to go further in school. So it did suck having that talk with my mom because I know my mom how much she wanted that for me. But we tried though, you know what I'm saying? I tried and I understood like, that's the best I can do. But
yeah,
the clothing is calling me. I
got the clothing is calling.
So it's not something that was smooth, but that's what comes with it though, bro. It's a tough journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy to make a decision like that. But my mom, don't let me get that effed up at all. My mom is like my number one supporter. So when I had this, these thoughts and decided to do that, she was like, all right, once you just let me know what you're doing, I'm 100% behind you. And she's been 100% behind me ever since. So, but when you're younger and you trying to break some harder news to your folks, it's just always a little bit more stressful.
Yeah. And then if you're comfortable speaking on it, I saw that once you tweeted, like, it means a lot that your dad was proud of you. Was he as embracing of you pursuing this route?
I think he probably really didn't like he he doesn't get it like that at that moment, because a lot of stuff like my dad, he's old fashioned. Like you got to be in front of his face. Stuff got to make sense. He got to see stuff on paper.
Mm.
He didn't really understand at that time, and everybody. Where we from is like it's school, it's graduate, like that's like that's the big thing for us. It's almost like a sign of like
you made it
success.
type.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you made it. So that he wasn't really kind of understanding. Like, but of course he was supportive as well. But I feel like now he's way more supportive now that he actually gets it. See, as I stuck with it, and that I'm continuing to make strides. So it's just something like to be honest, I didn't really expect him to really be like all aboard at first. You feel me? So I know that's stuff that would work out.
Gotcha.
He loved me. That's all I care about.
And kind of going along with that, did you ever have any doubts in that very beginning phases of like, dang, like, I'm pursuing this entrepreneur thing, but I have friends doing accounting, I have friends doing medical stuff, or, what would I look like to them? What would you say to someone that's, young Rashad, not necessarily you, but what I'm saying, like a younger student or something is like, man, I really want to pursue this entrepreneur thing, but like, I just don't know. People doubting me.
Right. Nah, bro, you gotta really have you gotta have an undeniable like belief. Like I know a lot of CEOs really probably say that, or people starting businesses that are like extra successful. Like, it's one of the first things yourself, but you really got to believe in the unknown, bro, and believe on like what you got going on, and kind of really have a tunnel vision to block all those words, because words will creep up into your mind, bro.
Yeah.
They will serve as doubt. It definitely will, and you just gotta keep with it. Like, understand this is mine and this ain't nobody else's. Once you really understand that, then it becomes a lot more easier. But it's something that you have to practice. Like, you just got to keep doing it to get comfortable with, all right, I know what's going on over here, but this is what I got going on.
Yeah. And I remember too, another convo that we had like off camera before, and once again, no shade either of our upbringings, but we both talked about how entrepreneur stuff and making a sizable amount of money isn't really conceivable by people like, that we grew up with. It's like you think you can make that much? You think you can sell for this much? You think you can build this to that? Who are you?
Right.
And I don't know. I just kind of want to speak on that in terms of how you manage that. Do you ever have thoughts of like, that creeping in the background? And do you ever feel like you have to like over explain yourself at all? Or is it just like, I'm going to do me?
I would say for me, it's like I said, it's just going back to that belief in what you got going on, bro. Like, cause really only you will understand it. But for me, what even helped me a lot more is the fact of knowing that when you start a business, bro, you start with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And so when you start to see like that there's something, nothing can, it's like, yo, I came from here and now we're getting money like here now. That's everything I need to know right there. Like, this is a sign of growth. And if I keep feeding it, I keep watering it, this right here, it ain't gonna stop, no matter the hardships, no matter any of that. So even though it might not for them, it's like, yo, you crazy thinking you about to do this, you crazy thinking you about to do that. But it's like, yo, it's happening, and I can vouch for it that this stuff is continually growing, and our mission is getting out there, and people rocking with it. So once, like I said, that's why I really have a sense of euphoria after every customer, because it's just like I said, it's reassuring, man. Like, yo, before we didn't have them as a customer, now we got them as a customer. Before they didn't know, but now they know. These changes, they just even make you more crazier for your dream.
I feel that. And then kind of going back to like some of the more strategy type things, with you doing the pop-ups in, we'll say like New York, Tampa, Cleveland, all these different cities, is that strategic to try to be at different areas to get your
Yeah,
name out there, or is just like, oh, I feel like exploring this city this weekend?
yeah. I mean, it's definitely a little bit of exploring, but it's 100% on purpose. Like
Yeah,
we know exactly what we want to do, but we want to hit these other cities because we know we want to be worldwide, you know. And in the next coming years, we're going to do pop ups in different countries. We want to continue to spread the message and spread our good quality out there, bro. So yeah, it's 100%. We love the fact that we have um, I would say, we have an audience in Tampa. We have an audience where we're from. We have an audience for where our boys that help us in Jacksonville and Jersey. So we knew that having all these different cities come together, this looks really good for us as far as um, recognition.
I feel that. So Rashad, I saw you take like a little field trip out in Oregon once, and it seemed like you were working on your craft. Can you kind of talk about that experience, what you did out there?
Yeah, bro, that was definitely lit. That was lit. While I was out there, like I went to Oregon. Really just to kind of see. I've never been to a state, so I'm always down to explore and just see like stuff that it really ain't been open. You know what I'm saying? That I really ain't never seen before. So I got an open mind and stuff like that. I definitely love to travel, so I went out there, and I actually had a homeboy I went to college with. He's always loved our stuff ever since we made it. And he went to school out at the University of Oregon for shoe design. So while I was out there, I linked up with him and he showed me some of their design spaces. And it just opened my mind up to like production, like the production scale of things, man. Like how much money people are making off making clothes is ridiculous. And also, not even just off the profit of it, the beauty of it, bro. They really have these kids out here when they're going to University of Oregon. They're getting them ready to design at Nike or Adidas. You know, so they're working with top tier material. You know, crazy waterproof garments, anything you can think of. And these kids got crazy brains. They work on like all type of things, man. It's hard to explain, but it was an eye opener, you know, to just be even more creative, to see what's out there, see the resources that we can continue to attract more. So, like, there's a lot more stuff for us to go ahead and see and be a part of to really grow our business as well. So, seeing that campus was an eye opener.
I feel that. It seems like you gained like a lot of experience. Oh,
He gave me a crazy book that I read. I read it all to this day. It was a textbook. He gave it to me. It was it's called Fabric Science. And I learned so much different stuff as far as like what fabrics for what. Yeah, it's a crazy book.
well, I just gotta take like a little side note. It's just funny that you said he gave me a textbook and I read it. Just because I can imagine like being in college classes and most people like, all right, bro, it's a textbook. Well, I'm about to let the professor teach me. But anyways, that's just something that popped in my head. If the
Yeah,
audience finds it
yeah.
funny, hopefully they did. If they don't, I laughed at it. But
Because you really don't be reading textbooks on your own. But like that one, I'm out of college, so it's like you just like, yo, I'm gonna just read this. Like,
yeah,
everything can be for real when it's about your passion. So
yeah. So like with that, do you ever wish that you would have pursued a more fashion oriented degree versus like learning
I
all the
could,
stuff that you are now? Or you think, having that balance of the business side that you went to
yeah,
school for with your experiences
I,
now?
I could have. It could have happened like that, but I love the route that it's teaching me now. Like I think that 100% what I've been doing for the last couple of years is really in a bigger frame for the next 20 years for me. As far as this design culture and what we're trying to build. So I think that going through these, even though it might be a little harder to learn both the business and the design side, but it's going to make us 10x stronger. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to allow us to create different ways to go about it. compared to a traditional way that would have been taught in school.
I feel that.
When you're back to the wall, like you got to come up with something crazy, like you freestyle it after that,
Mhm.
and we'll freestyle it and do our own, which I think that we've done now. So,
With design culture, do you feel like you have to constantly be consuming things to stay up to date, or is it more so like you stick to your same couple of things and you kind of vary a little bit off that? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, you don't have to. It's not like it's not something it's not like a keeping up type of thing. Like it's you, it's 100% you. Your style, what goes into making you, is really what makes your brand. So I would say, yeah, like it's not something that you have to keep up with. Like, oh, I have to follow this trend. I see this trend is going on, so let me stick with that. I would say it's good to understand what's going on. You don't want to completely be out of the blue about what the market is buying. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you might want to make your own twist on certain things, or understand it's going a certain way, so you put your own kind of thing to it. But for the most part, it's all you.
I feel that. That kind of relates to. I've been listening to like some more entrepreneur stuff lately, and one of the big guys in terms of like branding and marketing via social media, his name is Gary Vee. Um, and I don't know if you've heard of him, but
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
have. It's crazy. I know a dude that works for him.
that's
Like it's
crazy.
crazy, but
Who
yeah,
don't you know, Rashad?
he from he from Jersey.
But yeah, he mentioned in like a recent talk that he did, he was saying like the idea of oversaturation is one of the like I'll ask you if you agree or disagree at the end, but like he was saying the idea of oversaturation in any industry is absurd. He was like, there's plenty of people that do what he does, there's plenty of people that do what you're trying to do, et cetera, et cetera. He was like, the only thing that you should be worried about is yourself and occasionally looking up to see what everyone else is doing just so that you're aware. But for the most part, you should just be focused on yourself. Do you feel like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
applies?
yes, 100%. I feel like if you were trying to if you kept checking what's going on, kept checking what's going on, it's not even gonna be yourself thinking anymore. It's not gonna be yourself. You're just gonna be mimicking. So you got to really keep it in tight with you. And like he said, everybody, there's so many clothing brands. Even when you go to like a luxury level of clothing brands, there's so many clothing brands you can choose from. You go from streetwear clothing brands, so many of them that you can choose from. Local brands, there's just a lot of them. Outerwear. So for you to try to see what's going on, and it's just going to do a lot to your mind. So that's why I said we keep it. We feel like we're unique because of what influences us, and that's what we try to really keep going. Now, it might be some fly shit that's going on. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's tough. I can see us doing something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, But to constantly keep checking on it that's a no go.
So I have two things I want to bring up on that. One is, the fly stuff. I'll be seeing some of the stuff that you preview. That waterproof jacket, that's some fly stuff, man. Where did that come from?
Oh my god. Um, I'm obsessed. I feel like low key while I'm designing over the years, I've been obsessed with water. Um, and
You know how to swim
just the
yet,
way
bro?
that,
Sorry, I had to
yeah,
insert
I
that.
do.
You learn how to swim yet?
Yeah, of
All
course.
right.
Now I do.
Oh, we can go back to the
Yeah.
normal story. Sorry.
But I feel like that's why I didn't learn how to swim until I was in college. Um, I had one of my friends, my homeboy's mom, Dom DeFranco. Shout out my dog. His mom taught me how to like kind of swim when I was in high school, and then I didn't really kind of refresh or try to like touch up on my skills at all. But when I got to college, I really started learning how to swim. I'm like, yo, this is fly. Like, this is hard. Like, just knowing how to swim it was good, and it did a lot for my body. It was like, I love how it is. I love just watching swimmers. I got obsessed one year when I watched, and I think it was 2016, um, the Olympics, and I watched hella swim meets.
I need to put this
Now,
in the jacket.
I was like, yeah, this is crazy. But to be honest, when I made that jacket, bro, I was really thinking more so camouflage, like something different, like a different variation of camouflage. So, you know, I wanted another like kind of uh, earthly element that would kind of replicate that same kind of energy. And I'm always, especially being down in Florida, we're near a lot of clear blue water, and it's kind of easy to blend in with it. So I wanted something that would blend in with the water instead of it, instead of woods. So that was my concept behind it. I even put like little square, little circle pockets on there to represent like bubbles that you blow underwater. So just little cool stuff like that I really love doing, man. So it's just more so an experiment. You be up one night and you just think about it when you just brainstorming, and being able to bring it to life is even crazier.
Yeah, sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And then with that, I was just thinking about how you mentioned the design. How do you and LJ kind of determine how many colorways or variations of a product you want to do? If let's say, oh, I like this water camouflage, but then it's like, well, should we also do this color and that color? How you kind of decipher
Well,
that?
that's something that we're still learning as well. Now that a lot of people know our stuff, we're dealing with like higher quantities now. And now the higher quantity that you go with and that you go up with now is kind of pricier to get more colorways. A lot of these manufacturers, they're telling you you can do 50 of them, but it's just one color. So now you gotta be smarter with it. Sometimes talk to one manufacturer, you like, yo, can you do this for me? You might be able to sweet talk one, but that's more so like a budget thing now. What makes sense as far as our budget. Now, if we want to do a couple of them, like we want to do 10, split up in 10, we can take care of that ourselves, get it printed, done here and, domestically. But as our audience continues to grow, that's something that we continue to kind of like understand, like, okay, yeah, we can afford to do two colorways of this, and we'll see the two colorways. If we'll do like 4 color samples, and we'll see what we'll tease like on our stories, wear it around, see what people like the most, and the two that really sticks out, that's the one we'll do.
Gotcha. So I have a couple comments on that. For one, like when you guys, what am I trying to say? How you mentioned like, picking colors, or I kind of brought it up, but like the artsy version / creativity, how you balance that with the financial version of like, hey, I really love this design, but we would make more profit if instead we only stuck with these designs I don't like as much. How do you kind of balance that creativity versus that return on profit in terms of decision making?
That's a good question, because honestly, I'm still very early into this. That's the battle we be dealing with some of the stuff. I would say I wouldn't, even if I didn't have um, enough capital on hand to do a certain project, I wouldn't just go ahead and do something that I was like, nah, I ain't really messing with that, but we can afford to do it. I wouldn't play it like that ever. So we would just wait all together until it makes sense for us to do something. And I feel like too, even though I feel like you kind of always got to put something out, but it doesn't have to be like that. You can continue to work and not put anything out to develop your world, and what makes sense for your business. So it's just also telling us like, yo, it's not the end of the world if we don't put this out right now. We can relax. We not relax, but we can work on something else, get more capital in the store, put more colorways of our essentials in the store to build more money, maybe sell more of these online, stuff like that. But we won't never be like, yeah, these right here are kind of weaker, but we'll do them just because. We just won't do it at all.
Gotcha. And then how you mentioned, doing things in store, how'd that partnership with Kai Vintage come about?
Yeah, shout out my dog, Kai, man.
Also, real quick, sorry, I want to add one more thing. Kind of like inform the audience too in terms of like how you do get in stores, because I know a lot of times people are like, oh, I'll just sell it all online,
Yeah. Like it's it kind of goes back to like the pop up thing. When you get out there, opportunities really present yourself. I had actually I've been knowing Kai since I came down here pretty much. I used to go to his pop ups. He did pop ups all the time at the University of Tampa and the University of South Florida. he's been doing his business ever since he got out of college. He's a couple years older than me, but he's always been outside. So me loving clothes, loving vintage, I love vintage Nike and stuff. I always caught my stuff through KY. And then he literally, when he opened his storefront, he was like, yo, people asking for like streetwear kind of stuff. He was like, I ain't gonna do the Supreme and Bape. He was like, y'all, I feel like y'all would be the perfect thing to really introduce into the store. And yeah, he brought us along. So I would say when you're usually dealing with another entrepreneur, there's different like traits that they'll recognize from doing this themselves, So they see you've been working at it for a long time and that you continue to do it and it's actually hard. They're like, yo, it's more of a willingness to work with you. I know it's actually my mom's boyfriend. His son owns a store in Cleveland. He's younger than me. I think he just graduated high school like 2 years ago. But he's fired, bro. He owns his own store up in Cleveland. It's called Endless Souls. He's reached out to me a couple times, and to see if we can get stuff in store, and then likewise. But it's all about really executing and seeing what really makes sense for you for real.
Gotcha.
So like stuff like that. Yeah, we just keep our ears open.
I feel that. Kind of backtracking a little bit. I know we're talking about the in-store stuff, but I feel like in terms of online, sometimes people are like, all right, do I go with Shopify? Do I go with Big Cartel? Do I go with someone else? How did you go about deciding who you want to use as a platform?
Oh, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. It took us, I would say, the thing is about us, I've been making clothes for about almost 6 years now, but really I haven't sold online truly until 2023 as a Shopify account and having it on it. Shopify is definitely the route you go. But just from my experience with it, it took me forever to do a website. I don't know. I don't think that anybody else would have as hard as time as I did. I don't know, so it took forever. We wanted to make sure it was so fire at first. We tried to get a coder to do it. We were doing all these other things, but really it was doing so much extra stuff, which was a lesson in its own. It's like, bro, just do it. You ain't gotta keep procrastinating and try to get it perfect or anything. Just go for it and then keep adjusting after that. So Shopify was definitely like our main one. I think it might have did Big Cartel before that. We did like a couple website drops in 2021, but nothing stable as what we've been doing now.
I feel that. And then going back to I can kind of take it two ways, but I guess I'll go, I don't know, we'll go this way first. In terms of like online and in-store sales for the future of Avancer, do you guys want to continue being in, several vintage stores? You want to be in like big box stores or switch more so to just direct to consumer with strictly online?
Well, really our dream of it is we want a space where we can do production in the back and have pretty much a factory or warehouse in the back. We're able to work on our ideas.
Sorry, I'm laughing. There's a pop-up bubble came up. But sorry, continue.
You good? And then we would have a storefront in front. So we want something like of a mixture of that. So multiple stores and warehouses like that is our goal. I love being online too. Online is a lot easier. I love getting sales online. But as far as storefronts, I don't think that we would, or being sold in a store, we wouldn't keep going to other people's stores. And even now, we probably would only do one other store to keep. I still like to keep stuff exclusive. I don't want you to be able to get it everywhere, Mm-hmm. But here and there to make it a little bit accessible and to continue to get the word out. It's something but
would you compare it to the idea that you're having? Would you say it's similar to a Nike / Adidas thing? How they have their own separate stores, but they still sell in other stores, or is that a completely different model? It
would be something like that. I feel like once we set up our own storefronts, we would only stay loyal to being in KY shop.
Shout out KY.
So, yeah.
um,
So it would be the only spot that we would keep it at. But yeah, once we get our kind of like warehouse storefronts going, we're keeping it like that.
Gotcha. And then, of course, in terms of getting your name out there with the online and in person, you obviously need models, photographers, videographers. How did you go about finding all that?
Blessed again, bro. People be wanting to just work with us, like sometimes we do have to go and reach out to people, but I would say a good amount of times, bro, people are like, yo, I'm down to model. Whenever you need a model, let me know. For certain looks and aesthetics that we want for a photo shoot, we go out and we get them out that we can see the best fit for this image. But other than that, bro, yeah, you just kind of just gotta be. It's sometimes when I reach out to people, it's kind of like been low key nervous. It's just like, yo, like, I don't want you to think I'm weird or nothing, especially with women too.
Hey man, hey girl, I want to see you in some clothes.
Like yeah, like
I got this skimpy top for you.
I think you're gonna look real good at it. So, just being respectful.
So just for like the guy that's out there starting out or girl, whoever, can you kind of walk me through like an interaction that you would have to reach out? Is it like an email, a DM, an in person? I know someone that knows someone.
Yeah, I would say majority of the time it's a DM. Hey, like we got our clothing brand, got this shoot that we want to do. We think you will look real nice for it. We would love if you can join us. Keeping it like real short and simple like that. Sometimes it's been in person. In person is the best. Like I say, it's a lot more easier, and people can really actually get kind of understand where you're coming from, get your vision a lot better.
Gotcha. And then when you like establish, these ties for, I don't know if you want to call it a work for hire, like agreement or whatever term you would put on it. What I'm trying to say is, do you go with the mindset of this is going to be for the one specific event, or do you say, hey, I'm trying to go and do this long term if you're down?
Yeah. Some models, I love the way that they modeled before. I can be like, yo, anytime we doing something, I'm calling you, I love, and I definitely I feel like I lean more towards that. I love like a good, like uniform as I continue to grow, like a good kind of, I don't know, structure to things as far as like, yo, this is the model for Avancer,
Mm-hmm.
So I do love that kind of uniform type of technique of always having this that, for certain looks, of course, and certain rollouts.
I got you. One of the most prominent things that caught my attention was you guys' like mini commercial for your Black Friday drop. Not this past year, but like the year before that. So just going into that, can you kind of walk me through the creative process and how you guys thought of that, and also like the planning leading up to it, execution, etc.
Yeah, first off, I love commercials. I love. It's crazy as a kid, I didn't really like them, but I just love it, bro. Like I love like the people remember like the older LeBron commercials, like the puppet commercials, his Sprite commercials. That's like peak commercial for me, Even like older '90s commercials with Jordan and Spike Lee, like that type of stuff is amazing for me. So I always, just as much as I love creating clothes, I love like directing a commercial. Me and my boy Miguel, his name is Rendering on IG. He's crazy. He has a ton of ideas. He loves movies and visuals just like me. And we were watching this. It was like an intro to a show, and it pretty much was like shaped like a school book picture, like a yearbook photo shoot, and that's where we got the idea from. And I was like, yo, yeah, people come in with a different outfit for this one, outfit that one, treat like a photo shoot, inside a commercial. And it was cool. It came out really dope. It's one of my favorite things, like ever. I love commercials, man, just as much as I like clothing. I just want to reemphasize that.
I feel that. So, like with that sort of thing, is there like a huge chunk of budget that you have to put towards something like that, or is it something that you can just be like, hey, we're heading up to the
Oh,
studio right now, we'll get it done in an hour?
yeah. Like sometimes it can cost, but you know, like just being blessed enough to know people. This is before I was actually selling in KY's shop. I had asked him, I was like, yo, you got like the perfect environment for me to do a commercial. I was like, yo, can I do this? He was like, yeah, come come by after the store closes pretty much. And then my boy, he had like a white backdrop, gathered a couple people um, that, be down for photo shoots, model and stuff like that, something with a little bit more animation and personality. And yeah, we got it together. Since it was like me and his both idea, um, we didn't really have to put any money towards it. It was pretty good. I don't think that really cost us anything for me. I think I gave KY a couple T's.
And smooth.
Yeah, just know, that's what I'm saying, bro. You know people, and you've been rocking with people. Like, I've been rocking with KY for a minute. Like, I always support his stuff off the strength before I even had a clothing brand. So, that stuff does, come back for you.
I feel that. So, Shad, a business idea that I saw from, our boy Gary Vee is, you can tell me your thoughts on this. That's kind of like the whole point of me presenting it. But he was saying, run your organic social media stuff. If something, really pops off that you think is like, oh, this is doing numbers right now in terms of like getting reach and whatnot, run it as a paid ad. But when you do like a paid ad, when you like this in terms of like Meta, Facebook, Instagram, do it so it's local to only a certain city within a 10-mile radius, because like the cost will be like cheaper for that area. So it's like, instead of saying I'm going to go all across country for $500, it's just made up numbers. Instead of all across country 500, I'm put the same 500 and it'll just be all around Tampa. Therefore, they'll see it over and over again. What are your thoughts on doing something like that?
Bro, shout out to KY, my boy, because I'm telling you, he throws me ideas every other day. It's just far as like push. Along this journey, bro. That's another thing. I feel like I don't want to get off topic. I'm gonna come right back to it. But you just need other entrepreneurs around you, bro. They really help you a lot. As far as just kind of like you get to not compare in a bad way, but you just see the similarities.
Exposure, just seeing ideas from different perspectives.
Yes, and he's been doing it for a lot longer than me, so he knows a lot, and he's always like, yo, ads, bro, ads, reels, bro, ads and reels. So he presented the same idea to me too, but me I haven't got to it yet, but I will 100% this year. A lot more ads. That's something that we haven't really utilized, I feel like, as a brand ever, is really our marketing. And this year, 100% marketing is like our focus, because we feel like our designs, we understand the harder part is to really have great ideas and continue to have great ideas, but it comes easy to us. But everything else that we need to focus on is the framing of it. We need the to everything to be clean and crisp. Tags, hang tags, washing labels, marketing, advertising. Like, this is the year for that for us, where we really kind of hone in for that. So it's crazy that you mentioned that, because we will 100% be running ads on the stuff that does a lot better for us.
Yeah, and it's kind of connecting with that, something else that I saw. Like I said, bro, I low-key be tapped on the entrepreneur side as of late. I was watching something today, and basically it's like this millionaire talking. I'm just representing what he mentioned on a podcast. And basically there's research that's been done from this guy that works with Google, or it was like in conjunction with Google, like this research that was done. And the guy's name is Dr. Dunbar, I think is what it was. And so basically, long story short, is from Google searches, they found that on average, it takes on average 11 touch points to be like, you know what, I'm going to actually go ahead and make a buy today.
Yeah, no, I actually see my homeboy Dom too. He told me a couple years ago, he was like, yeah, the average person needs to see something 7 times before they buy
that's
something.
like the general rule of thumb. The 7-1.
Bro, I kid you not. I kid you not. It's so crazy, right? This goes along the lines of what we talking about just for that statistic and running ads. So I work at Neiman Marcus, luxury department store, and some of the newer samples that I have, they're kind of like more elegant, than a hoodie. They're like a quarter zip, and I've worn it plenty of times, but I wore it like the 10th time, and on the 10th time, this girl comes, she's like, "Yo, that's actually fire." She's seen it already. She's seen it a couple of times already,
Yeah.
bro. And she's like, "Yo, that's fire. I actually need it." And I'm like, "Bro, this is so crazy." Had I stopped wearing this, like, you just never know, bro. Like, people sometimes, that's another thing I really understood too. Some people will really like your stuff and just don't say anything.
Yeah, I found that out too.
And yeah, it's just that unfamiliarity. Like, you just don't. It's kind of uncomfortable at first. You don't know what it is. You're afraid to ask what it is. Like, you know, they don't even know if it's my brand or not. It's just the fact they don't know. It's like, I don't know. You feel
Yeah.
me? But then they hear, "Oh, you made that? That's actually crazier." You know what I'm saying? So to continue to, that's just another thing that, going on that point, bro. Like, you do always have to keep showing your stuff. Like, one to five times ain't enough at all. You got to keep showing the same products. You might not, and it's like crazy for me because it's like sometimes I'd be like on some, man, I'm tired of seeing this. I feel like I gotta switch it up. You know, it's just like even with like the Avancer, like the stapler embroidered ones. When we start selling in stores, that's when I was like, oh wait, we have yet to really get our max potential out of these hoodies. I've been doing it for years and years now, so it's kind of like almost repetitive. I still, don't get me wrong, still love to do them, love everything about them. But you just be like, should I switch it up? But you're just forgetting that there's so many people that hasn't seen your stuff yet, and they keep seeing it. They like, yo, this is fire. So they see us at a pop up. You see us at a pop up, and we might not have their size then. We tell them, yo, come to KY Vintage. They'll come back looking like, yo, where the hoodies at? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's amazing to see, like, yo, keep showing your stuff. No matter what, keep showing your stuff. So the ads will definitely enhance 100% what we were just talking about.
Yeah. And then something else I saw, I don't know if you heard of like Lil Russell. He's a rapper, but like
Yeah,
he has one of the biggest social media presence in terms of like any rapper. And he's known for like his business stuff. And he was saying like, sometimes people will be like, oh, you post too much. But it's like, all right, cool. If you want to unfollow. But I'm going to keep on reaching more and more people. And ultimately, if you want to unfollow, my stuff probably wasn't for you. Because if you do like it, or if you like me as a person, you'll probably continue, tuning in.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I just find a lot of things funny. Like it's concepts like this where it's like you hear about them and then you see like real life in your thing. And it's like, oh, it does apply. Because like even for me, there is someone that I followed on TikTok and like he was like, saying some knowledgeable stuff. I was like, something about you is just like annoying me, and like I don't want to follow you. Like, stop showing up on my For You. And like after 5th to 10th time, I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and follow. And then since then, I was like, he's actually cool for real. I kind of mess with him, and that's kind of like another segue. I mean, I'm kind of just rambling here, but it's like, this is what I've heard. You can confirm or deny, but like people generally buy from people that they like, and also people hate being sold to. But it's like, if I'm looking for a product, I might be looking for a hoodie. Might not be a specific Avancer hoodie. Might not be a specific color design. But it's like, hey, I like Rashad and LJ. I like what they're doing. I'm going to buy from them. I trust them.
Yeah. True.
So
It's true. I had this dude, I was talking to this, actually a spot where I actually get some of my prints done. And I was asking him more so on some, like, I'm like, yo, you print and embroider for a lot of people. I'm like, where do you get your business from? Like, how do you keep getting bigger, deals like this, bro? What's going on? And he was like, bro, like, he goes to certain meetings, basically, like certain CEO meetings that they have, like chapter meetings and stuff. And there's just a lot of CEOs that get together. And he was like, bro, they only work with who they like. You know, they wouldn't work with who they know.
Yeah.
They're not going to. But he said 9 times out of 10 when people do business, they're not working with a random. You know, they're working with somebody they're familiar with. Know they like them. You know, so that's what it got my eyes. I said, I'm like, damn, you just blew my top back. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, going back to that for sure. People definitely they buy and they work with people that they like.
For sure. And then, kind of just rounding out here, I want to talk a little bit about the future direction of Avancer. I know you've mentioned so far that the ultimate goal is to be able to have your own spot where you're producing and also selling in the storefront. Besides that,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned like going worldwide eventually. Do you have like any
Yes.
timelines of like how long you want before you reach your goals? Obviously, not everything goes as planned, but like ideally or like what you see expecting wise.
Yeah, the next 2 years, honestly. Like this year, we have some goals set out for. I definitely want to. I will be going to a fashion week in Paris for sure, just to get out there, check it out, talk to some people, and it's a lot better as far as a lot of people and designers that do showrooms out there. So it's a little bit more easier to kind of talk to people that are already there for real, compared to like going to a fashion week in New York. So getting out there definitely this year is a must. But I definitely want to even have my own showroom. I want to do it in places that are not so fashion heavy. Um, People, a lot of especially for luxury, a lot of people it's like Milan or Paris, or New York, and these are kind of like it's like that's not necessarily true. So there's so many other places that actually make really good quality fabric, make beautiful garments, and put in their time and crazy hard work and skill to make even greater garments than what we think is great, like in Milan and Paris. So I want to kind of even like put a spotlight on those places. So I've thought about places in Africa as well, like Ethiopia. Ethiopia got crazy garments, man, crazy fabric. Would love to go over there and do a showroom. I went to school with a couple of people that was from Ethiopia too, so we can definitely make it happen. That's a goal of mine, and just doing it in even places like even like Cleveland, man. Like I got a lot of my style from Cleveland, and I feel like to a certain degree we don't really get a lot of, we don't get a lot of respect for people who are like Cleveland, like what, But I know that some of the flyest people that came out of Cleveland, and that's what really raised me. So putting a spotlight on places like that aren't traditional, like I guess fashion places. That's something that is a goal of ours. Period.
I got you. And then another thing I've noticed sometimes on your or on the Avancer stories, it'll be like previews of unreleased things or like more of a different, I don't know if you would call it a genre for fashion. I don't know how to describe it in terms of like category, but like, your stuff right now, a lot of it is t-shirt, hoodie, sweater, but these are like more button ups, ties. What's like the future?
It's my passion.
Say again. Sorry.
No, I'm
Well, I was saying
sorry.
like in terms of like the future direction of Avancer, do you want it to be kind of like you're doing both? Do you want it to be like a separate line completely where you have the more elegant things or more formal looking? You know what I'm saying?
I will for sure tell you that we will do everything under the sun. I don't want to be boxed in at all. As far as what I could, what we can make. I love making polos, ties, sweater vests, stuff like that because I was raised on that. Me and you, we went to a Catholic private schools pretty much our whole life. We had to dress like that, and that's just something that always stuck with me. I'm like, yo, I'm actually not. Everybody's uncomfortable wearing a tie, but me, it feels natural. Like I love wearing a tie. I can go all day and wear a tie. I can wear, something a little bit more preppy and be completely comfortable in it. So I want to express that in my clothing. The only reason why we haven't really touched on that out the gate is because of the work that it takes to make finer quality like that with garments like that. So now that we've we've entered this world and can now make stuff like that, more and more of it will come out. Like the hoodies and the t-shirts and even some of our other items that we've done in the past, there's like starters to really get our feet wet into what we really want to do. So everything else now, it's like we get to unravel a different part of ourselves as time goes by, because now the knowledge that we know and the amount of work we put in, it kind of just allows us to keep pulling the layers back.
I feel that. So looking more so towards like the near future, do you guys have like any special events coming up? Anything that you want people to like really know about to tap in, drop wise?
Yo, we about to come up. I don't even want to drop too many. A lot of people say like I don't want to drop too many details, but for real, I'm going to do an event with my homie L, my homie Brian from Glass Ceilings, and my boy Berlin. We coming up with some crazy ideas to pretty much display our love for music and our love for clothing in one event. So we've been putting that together. We're looking to do that at the end of February. And then for sure, I'm having another pop-up in Cleveland that I really want to do and touch back at home and get some of these off. I feel like every time I go to Cleveland, like I don't have enough stuff. You know, I sell out of it, but it's like, yo, if we have more, we'll even sell even better. You know, so now I want to come and do Cleveland like fully prepared.
Do you have any of the sneak peeks in the background? I mean, this is, you don't have to show it off. You don't want to, but I see a bunch of items in the back.
Yeah, that's some stuff that we had just made before. It's like kind of like different color variations of certain ones, but that stuff right there, that ain't what we about to be putting full fledged out. The other stuff gonna be crazier.
I got you. So just kind of rounding up here, you know, here at GPS, I always like to give people a GPS shout out. So here at GPS, we're big on making people's paths more straightforward. So I just want to give you the opportunity, if you have anyone that you want to mention that you feel like help make your path more straightforward.
Oh my God, it's more straightforward. Yeah, shout out to my mom. Shout out to my mom, 100%, bro. Like what? I don't even know where I would. Like she just done a lot to keep my mind strong. And just having that mental fortitude, bro. Like just staying on the path, even when stuff looks rock bottom. Like keeping that mission as the focal point, bro. She's helped really instill that level of faith in me to continue to just do what I believe. So my mom, 100%. My best friend / business partner. That's my dog, bro. Like we really went through life together and like blossom as men and as business owners. I'm just grateful that it even looks even more brighter as we continue to grow. You know, a lot of stuff looks a lot more achievable, man. Of course, I would say shout out to my dad, bro. Shout out to my dad just for I feel like his level of understanding over the years has been amazing. I feel like he's really shown a lot of growth to just even, you know, continue to believe in me and understand what's going on without even not fully understanding what's going on. Shout out to my dog, KY. He even really put on as far as just keeping my mind always working and to always do something new and always understand that work needs to be done. Shoot, bro.
We can keep it at top 4, but if you want to keep going, you can. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying you seem to have a pause right there.
Yeah, you good. That's cool. That's cool.
Good right there. All right, y'all. Yeah. Rashad, I appreciate having you here. Where can people get in contact with you or find out more about Avancer Shop? Where can they do that
at? We are on IG as AVCR. That's our abbreviation. Again, it is AVCR. We also have our website, avcrmovement.com. If you want to grab anything in store, if you're in the area of Tampa, Florida, come see us at KY Vintage, 3612 South Del Mabry. Show you a beautiful time, great shopping experience. We can tell you a lot more about the brand. You can really understand this level of cloth. And yeah, man, if you got any questions too, hit me on the Gmail. You want to work with us? You need any embroidery done? You got any questions about embroidery, man? Just hit our Gmail, man. abcrembroidery at gmail.com. I'm quick to help out anybody or answer anything. Or if you want to get some work done, just let us know.
Cool. And I'll go ahead and include all that in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on podcasting platforms, it'll be in the show notes. Also, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, if you got value out of it, please feel free to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate you, and I'll see you next episode.